Have you ever seen someone with nothing, yet holding on to hope in the simplest form? She walked past him like everyone else, until one small detail made her stop. A homeless man sitting on the cold pavement, reading a worn-out book as if it were treasure. Most people ignored him, some even laughed, but she chose to listen, not with her ears, but with her heart. Emma was a kind soul, but lately, kindness felt heavy. She worked long hours at a small publishing company, reading stories of hope and redemption. Yet her own life felt painfully empty. She lived alone in a quiet apartment, her days spent editing other people's dreams while silently burying her own. Every morning, she walked the same road to work, past the same stores, the same streetlights, and the same people who never looked up from their screens. But one chilly autumn morning, something broke her routine. She noticed him, a man sitting on the pavement near the bus stop. His clothes were worn, his hair unkempt, his hands rough and trembling from the cold. A paper cup sat beside him, empty. People walked by without a glance. Some even veered away as if kindness were contagious. But what caught Emma's attention wasn't his condition. It was what he was holding, a book, not just any book. A thick, old hardcover novel, pages yellowed and edges frayed. He wasn't just flipping through it. He was lost in it, eyes moving with intent, lips silently mouthing the words as if savoring each sentence. Emma slowed down, her curiosity overpowering her hesitation. Why would a homeless man be reading, she wondered. Most barely had food. Why spend time on books? She stood there longer than she realized, watching him. People brushed past her impatiently, but she couldn't move. Something about that sight tugged at her heart. A man who had nothing, yet held on to stories. The next morning, she saw him again. Same spot, same book, same stillness. On the third day, she couldn't resist. She approached him slowly, unsure if she was intruding. "Hi," she said softly. The man looked up, startled, his eyes tired yet gentle. Met hers. "Good morning," he replied politely, as if they were two strangers meeting at a library instead of a street corner. I couldn't help noticing. What are you reading?" He looked down at the book, then smiled faintly. "The Count of Monte Cristo," he said, borrowed it from a community shelf nearby. Emma felt a lump in her throat. "Do you like it?" His eyes lit up. "It's a story about hope," he said, "about someone losing everything and finding strength through patience." Emma's lips trembled. She wasn't sure why, but those words hit her deeply. They spoke for a few minutes. She learned his name, Michael, a former teacher who had lost his job, his home, and eventually, his family. Life had taken everything, but not his love for books. That morning, Emma walked away with tears in her eyes, but also with a spark of something she hadn't felt in a long time, hope. The next week, Emma made it a routine to stop by and talk to Michael every morning. Some days she brought him coffee. Other days, she simply sat with him while he read. Their conversations were soft, meaningful, stories about life, loss, dreams, and survival. But not everyone was kind. One day, as Emma sat beside him, a group of teenagers passed by. They snickered loudly. One of them mocked, "Hey, old man, reading won't get you a house." Another kicked his paper cup, scattering the few coins he had. Emma's heart pounded with anger. "Stop," she yelled, standing up. But the kids laughed and walked away. Michael simply sighed and bent down to pick up the coins. "Why didn't you say anything?" Emma asked, frustrated. He smiled sadly. "People hurt others because they are hurting too." His calmness made her want to cry. But the cruelty didn't stop there. The following day, a security guard approached them while they talked. "Ma'am, please step away. This area isn't safe," he warned, eyeing Michael with suspicion. "He's not dangerous," Emma replied firmly. The guard frowned. "Loitering isn't allowed. Sir, you need to move." Michael nodded quietly, closing his book. "It's okay," he said, but it wasn't okay. Emma stood in the guard's way. "If he leaves, I leave too, and I'll make sure everyone knows how you treat people here." The guard hesitated, then muttered something under his breath and walked away. Emma sat back down, her hands trembling. Michael looked at her, astonished. "No one's ever stood up for me before," he whispered. Tears welled in her eyes. No one should have to fight alone. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay awake thinking about him, about how easily society discards people like Michael, about how many others like him are out there, unseen, unheard, unloved. She realized something powerful. Kindness wasn't just about giving. It was about restoring someone's dignity, and she knew she couldn't just walk past anymore. The next morning, Emma didn't bring just coffee. She brought books, a whole box of them, novels, biographies, poetry, classics. Michael's eyes widened as she set them beside him. "For you," she said, "or for anyone who needs them." Michael gently opened one of the books and ran his fingers across the pages as if touching something sacred. "You have no idea what this means," he whispered, but Emma wasn't done. She took a deep breath. "Michael, would you like to come with me?" He looked confused. "Where?" "To my office," she said. "We have a small reading corner, maybe. Maybe you could help organize it, recommend books, talk to people." Michael stared at her in disbelief. "Are you offering me a job?" Emma nodded, tears in her eyes. "Only if you're willing." For a moment, Michael didn't speak. His hands trembled as he closed his book. Then, slowly, he smiled, a real, genuine smile, the kind that said you saved me without a single word spoken. The following weeks were like watching a flower bloom. Michael became a familiar face at the publishing office. He greeted employees with warmth, suggested books to interns, and even started a small street library basket at the entrance, where anyone could borrow or donate a book. People who once ignored him now listened to him. They didn't see a homeless man anymore. They saw a storyteller. And Emma, she changed too. Her life, once dull and lonely, was now filled with purpose. She had given kindness, but in return she had received meaning. Sometimes the smallest act of attention can rewrite someone's life. One book, one conversation, one moment of kindness. You don't need to change the world, just someone's world. Because behind every face you walk past, there's a story waiting to be heard. Be the person who stops and listens